What's going on, everyone? Happy July. Happy 4th of July for my Americans. If you're not American, kill yourself. Owen, bleep that out. Today we're going to be compiling and kind of ranking each of the different fighters in each division based on their abilities and who I think is the best in each category. Right now it's a hard time for an American. I feel like it's very hard to be an American UFC fan right now because there's no American champions. This is the first time since 2008 there's ever not been an American champion. So hopefully we can get something going soon. Alright, number one, flyweight. The categories I'm going to be doing is BJJ, striking, wrestling, mic skills, all-around fighters, and cardio. I did this because mic skills are very necessary, especially with building fights. When you kind of look at Conor McGregor, yes, his fighting was great, but a lot of people just wanted to see him, and you see that a lot with people calling their shots. The best jiu-jitsu practitioner in the flyweight right now is probably Pantoja. He's been finishing everyone with BJJ. I also had him down for wrestling, so I think he has those two. Striking, I put Royval. I know he just lost to Van, but he did outstrike Van. I think that with a little more power, he definitely would have won that fight. Mike, Manel Kopp, I don't support anything he says, but he does know how to call his shot and kind of make opportunities for himself. Too bad he's been pulling out. He's kind of a bum. For cardio, I put Joshua Van. I think that with that war, he just never settled, and I think it's because, one, he's so young. He has all that cardio built up, and he's kind of always growing. But I put him down for that. All around, Pantoja. He's just so dominant as a champion right now. This is all current fighters, people that are like in the UFC. For bantamweight, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I put Aljamain Sterling. I know he just moved up. I don't know if he fought. I think he fought Evil at featherweight, but no one really comes close to him at this point. So I just put him down. Striking, Sean O'Malley. I think that's a given. There's a lot that you could say striking-wise. You know, someone like Corey Handsagen, he's an all-around great fighter, but just for the time being, I think that Sean O'Malley is probably the best. Wrestling and cardio, easily Marab. I feel like everyone knows that. And if I put anyone else, everyone will be mad. Mic skills, Sean O'Malley, easily. He kind of does not feel like a bantamweight with his height and his mic skills. Every bantamweight right now is kind of boring, with none of them really having any like it factor. Sean O'Malley was the closest we had. All-around fighter, Corey Sandhagen. That's kind of a controversial pick, but just because Corey Sandhagen is the most well-rounded in every single aspect. With the bantamweights, each contender kind of has really good things like Merab with his wrestling and his cardio, but he doesn't really get any finishes. He finished Sean O'Malley, but that's like the first time in a while. Sean O'Malley is not that good at jiu-jitsu. He barely held in there for half the fight, and he couldn't even make it that long. So, featherweight, BJJ, Brian Ortega, T-City. He is great. I know a lot of his fights end with him getting knocked out, but a lot of them end with his grappling. There's examples where his grappling wasn't efficient, like against Volk, but Volk said that was the closest he's ever been to like going out like that, and that he just has a crazy grip. Striking, Max Holloway. I know he moved up, but he's the best they have in striking right now. You could also make the argument that Topuria, even though I didn't put him at striking, partly because he is the champion at lightweight right now, but also if it weren't a competition of power at the same time, Max Holloway would have won. He was outstriking him in the first two rounds before he did get knocked out. Wrestling, Evelev. I feel like that's a pretty easy call. Cardio, Max, again, at featherweight. But that, now that he's a little older and it's a little harder to cut the weight, it's kind of been going down. But, on the mic, Dan Ige. I feel like Dan Ige kind of, inspired with the coming in on 8 hours short notice. There's a lot of people that you could say no one's really good on the mic at featherweight. There's people like Conor McGregor once upon a time, but not really anymore. So I put Dan Ige just because he hypes me up. He gets me excited. Recently, he's been kind of on a losing streak, but other than that, all around Volkanovski, I think just the champion should usually be in the all around best fighter, but Volk is just, he sticks out in this division. Lightweight, Oliveira is really good at submissions as well as the limb jiu-jitsu. A lot of people don't look at like arm bars. They're kind of going for a specific submission, whether it's a choke or a break. And I think he's just always ready to give it whatever. We always saw like in his last fight against Topuria, even though he got knocked out in the first, he was trying to go for that ankle lock. A lot of people wouldn't go for that and not get as close. So I put Oliveira. And, that is a controversial pick because there's people like Islam, but I think Islam is way better as seen as an all-around fighter. So that's what I put him for. Striking, Topuria. I put that because he's the champion right now. But honorable mentions are Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway now. There was a time that I think both of those fighters, if at the weight, they would put up a better fight against Topuria. But I think he just has so much power and he's so explosive that he kind of has the best striking, but it's just because he's able to put your lights out. Wrestling, Islam, that's easy. Cardio, Matsu's Gamrot, he's just good at overwhelming people. Mic skills, Michael Chandler. He'll get you fired up. You want to talk about an American that'll get you fired up? Get Michael Chandler on the mic. He'll scream, he'll lose, and then he'll still go, oh, maybe he should get that shot. Maybe he should do something cool. So Michael Chandler, I hope he can win. I want to see him win so bad. Just because I want to see him on the mic. Just one more time. Just one more crazy. Conor McGregor! Anyways, welterweight. BJJ, I put Sean Brady. I think, he's moving up so fast. And he's doing so well that he deserves it. Striking, JDM. JDM also has great wrestling. Defensively, he was able to keep a high guard, stuff takedowns at the same time, which was just so impressive, especially against Bilal Muhammad. Wrestling, I did Shavkat / Usman. Usman's wrestling in his last fight kind of put to bed a lot of the rumors that his knees were giving out and that he couldn't really wrestle like he used to. It definitely put those rumors to bed. Easily. No doubt in my mind. He gave Khamzat Chimaev the best fight that he could. And, I just hope he's still there. Shavkat just has great standing wrestling, especially, I know it's clinch work technically, but he gets a lot of those submissions from the clinch, which I think just goes into the body control. And, hand fighting is a big thing in wrestling. Your ability to put your weight on another fighter, tire him out, that all goes under wrestling. Cardio, Morales, I think he just is young and he's able to be so overwhelming in his fights. I think, look at Gilbert Burns. He just doesn't let up. On the mic, Colby Covington. Colby kind of sucks. I think he used to be able to say his cardio was one of the best, but at this point he is kind of just a gimmicky fighter. I want to see him come back too. He's a little controversial and it's a little hard to like him, but you have to have those entertaining people. And then all around I put Ian Gary. I think as a Muay Thai fighter, he does great work in the clinch, especially against Shavkat. The only guy Shavkat hasn't been able to finish and actually injured Shavkat, which is never good, but it's impressive. And I think he has great wrestling. Look at him versus MVP. Just, being able to hold someone like that down for a couple of rounds. Middleweight, BJJ, Khamzat. Khamzat, I put him for BJJ because he's unworldly strong. He's able to get that choke and he's like an anaconda. He'll break your jaw. I'm tapping right away. If he even gets close to me, I'm tapping. Striking, Israel Adesanya. I think his striking is just so dynamic. Not necessarily efficient. I think he just has incredibly dynamic striking. Even if Alex Pereira were still in this division, I'd give it to Israel Adesanya just because he's so dynamic in his striking. Wrestling, Khamzat again, easily. Cardio, Dricus. Dricus is just... He's literally... The jokes are true. He's a cartoonish fighter. He's funny in the way that he's able to get away with everything, even though it's unconventional. I put him for the mic, too. I think he's funny on the mic. I think being able to outclass Sean Strickland on the mic, Israel Adesanya, he gets under people's skin so easily, and it's kind of impressive. All around Dricus again. Just because it's so confusing to figure him out. Light heavyweight, BJJ, Paul Craig. He's back. You're allowed to say Paul Craig is back at light heavyweight. He fought. I think that was definitely a fake knockout. That guy definitely was not out. Striking, I put Alex because he's so strong, but I also pick Yuri because he's willing to take risks, but usually that gives great rewards unless you're fighting Alex Pereira. Wrestling, Magomed. There's not much good wrestling in light heavyweight. I mean, you could argue Yuri again, but I'm trying to give it away. Or, Paul Craig. Mike, Yuri, I think he's just funny. I think he's just like a funny guy on the mic. I wouldn't necessarily say you don't really need a call for your shot in light heavyweight. Most people don't even speak English, so who cares? But it's funny when he's like, I have boys coming to my hotel room and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do stuff. All around, Yuri. Heavyweight, I put for BJJ, Almeida. John Jones is retired, but you could say him as well. He did submit Almeida, but I think just for a heavyweight, Almeida probably does have the most impressive BJJ, but you could also give it to John Jones. Striking, Tom Aspinall, easily. Wrestling, Blades. Curtis Blades is just speaks for itself. Controversial, cardio, Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall has exactly enough cardio for exactly what he needs to do. We have no clue how good his cardio is. It's like saying he has an iron chin because he's never been knocked out. It's because no one's knocked him out yet. So until he gets tired in the ring, technically he does have the best cardio. It's like if you go into a basketball court, you're playing a basketball game, you're a D1 player, you shoot one basket, you make it, and then you retire, and you say on your stats, I have 100%, free throw percentage or 3 points, On the mic, it's also Tom. He was able to call his shots, a little too well. He retired John Jones without even fighting him. And then all around, Sergey Pavlovich. Sergey is an all-around great fighter. He just is aging out. I think everyone could agree that there was a time that he was a really, really big presence in the heavyweight division, and there is a timeline where he won that fight, and he fought John Jones because I think John Jones would have fought Sergey Pavlovich because it's an easier fight. So, see you guys later.